Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Monday, September 14th, 2009. Well, as we get into this intraday analysis video, folks, I want to discuss what we're seeing in the markets today, what the key news breaks have been since the weekend, and really focus it on the technical levels, which, by the way, there's one level we isolated for our premium guys last week, and even for you guys in the free videos that you can see is going to be a major level. Now, the bottom line is this. The markets are just slightly negative. We gapped down quite a bit this morning, as much as 60, 70 points on the Dow, and overnight the S&P futures were down over 10 points. But by this morning on the light volume, the markets had upticked. Now, you had Obama speaking at midday today, and I think the markets did really get a nice little upbeat into that. You can see really what went on here is we gapped lower, and then we slowly made our way back up to the flat line, gap fill. Also, this blue trend line. This blue trend line I highlighted to my premium guys and basically said to them, this is the major level to watch. And I said it to them last week, and I'll say it to you guys right now. Notice how the market stayed above this blue trend line going all the way back a full week. Look, all the way back from 2 Fridays ago, or last Friday, a week from last Friday. You can see if you take that high and just extend it to the low here, that trend line goes all the way through these bases here, up to here, and then all the way up the whole way on Friday. Well, we gapped below it today, so what does that mean? And I told the chat room this right away. I said, guys, as soon as you get a push up into that blue line, you have to be able to look for a little bit of a short on this market, just because it was such a major level. We talked about how once it broke, you'd probably get some selling in this market, and not only did it break, but it gapped lower today. But the key was knowing that the retrace back up would be a beautiful level to short into, and sure enough, right here at Pierce's, never gets above that blue trend line, and then since then it falls back down, goes sideways, falls back down a little more, trying to go sideways again right on these key moving averages. So you have to know your levels here, and you got to know your trend lines, and that's really what we do in the research center is isolate these key levels, talk to you guys about our expectations for the markets, give projections, picks on stocks, ETFs, and more, and we really want to just make sure everyone knows what is going to happen in the markets tomorrow. It's like getting tomorrow's newspaper today, bottom line. Now, going over a couple other things here. You can see how we gapped down right to this 104 level. 104 being good support. Off the 104 level, you had a little bit of minor resistance at 104 and a quarter. You can see how you got that one pierce of it and a pullback. Then you broke through. Once you got over that level, you were going to go to that blue trend line. It's just that easy, folks. When you see that trend line like this and you know how powerful it is, it works like a magnet. It really holds the market and pulls it to it once you get close enough. And once we got over this 104 and a quarter level, it was destined to get there at this point. But you have to know that was a good shorting opportunity as mentioned in the chat room, and sure enough you see a nice little downtick, sideways downtick again, and now we're just going sideways in the afternoon session. Again, Obama came out this morning or around midday and gave a little speech on the Lehman debacle from a year ago and kind of gave everyone a little rundown, and you have to watch for how the market reacts. We've had a lot of Obama talking right now. Obama, we had Geithner's town hall meeting last week. You had all these comments coming out from all over. All right, well that's in the past now. Where do we go from here? How do things shape up? And that's, again, what we really want to focus on. So keep an eye on that, folks, really to understand what's going on in this market. Now, the levels you're going to watch this afternoon and into tomorrow, these are them. All right, number one, you have a little bit of resistance here, gap fill, and the highs from today. That's between 104.75 and 105. So good resistance, 104.75 to 105 on the SPY. You're looking at the SPY intraday right now. If you get through that, you're going to go to the high of the day from yesterday. That is right, from Friday. That's at 105.30. Those are going to be your main resistance levels on the upside. On the downside, you have a little minor resistance or support, little minor support line right here. See this pivot low right here? And that's really where we're hovering. That is a support level. If you break that, and that is right around this 104.50, if you break 104.50, you should go back to 104 and a quarter, and then ultimately the lows of the day right around 104. So watch that very closely, folks. If you get through 104, the 200 moving average is going to be a spot you're going to start to watch. That will be a major level, as it's going to be the first hit of the 200 moving average in quite some time. Now we're going to go to the 60-minute, folks. What you actually see here is a big downdraft from the highs put in on Friday to the gap down today. Off of that, you've made a nice move up. You're curving sideways now. You want to see which way do we go. Do we push up on the 60-minute to this white trend line at 105, or do we fall back down to support right here at around 104, 104 and a quarter? That's going to be your big level. If If you get through 105 on the 60-minute, showing clearly $105.30. And then if you get through it, this next support level would be on the downside, right around that 103, 104, and then ultimately all the way down to about 103, 103 and a quarter. This pivot low right down here. You can see this low and this low right here. This will be a very, very good level. This is at 103 to 103 spot 20. So watch those levels, folks. You've had a big upswing. You have broken that trend line to the downside on the 10-minute. Watch this one really closely. This blue trend line, if we recapture it, you're going to go right to the highs of the day and possibly higher. If we can stay below it, you may see some continued selling in this market. So watch that again. Now, remember, tomorrow, this week, you're going to have some key economic news. Tomorrow, you're going to have some retail sales numbers coming out. Those are going to be important. I believe you also have CPI numbers coming out, so watch that on the news front. Also, watch Asia, folks. Last night, Japan actually got hit pretty hard, down about 2% or so. You want to watch to see if China can start to follow to the downside a little bit. China was resilient. After the big 20% drop, it really has regained almost 10% of that drop and has come back very, very nicely. So we want to see, does that show more signs of weakness in the coming days, weeks, and does that start to push the overall markets down? Does it continue to push oil down? Oil down again today after a big reversal on Friday after calling that in the Research Center video Thursday night for a down move on oil. We nailed that to the day pretty much, continuing to look for more downside here on oil, all right? Gold is down slightly on the day. The dollar is basically neutral here. The UUP is hovering just flat on the day, and again, that's off of a major support line at 22.75. 22.75 given out as a major support line, and you can see that holding up beautifully. Another fantastic little call there. All right, folks, that's pretty much all for today. Again, volume while Obama has been speaking, or up to Obama and then after Obama, has been unbelievably light. Believe it or not, we're on pace for a lighter day than Friday at this point, which is pretty substantial. We'll have to see if that continues. When does the volume kick back in? When does post-holiday volume, post-summer volume really kick back in? You know, we may need a catalyst. Watch those retail sales tomorrow. Could be very, very interesting. Also, watch ExxonMobil, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. Those are the key ones to watch when you're talking about individual stocks. Have a wonderful rest of the day, folks. Come join the chat room. Come join the Research Center. Talk to you soon.